Hello, class, and welcome to Researcher TV, where learning research is made easy. And for this week's topics, we'll be talking about three very important preliminary contents or preliminary elements prior to the actual conduct of your study. And we will be discussing about the research topic, how you're going to formulate your research title, and finally, the background of the study. So let's first start with the most challenging, and perhaps this is probably, in my own opinion, the most crucial part, or the probably, yes, the most difficult, challenging, and crucial part in creating or making your research work or your research study. And this is your research topic. Now, do you believe or would you agree with me if I would say that this is indeed a very crucial step or procedure in doing your research? Yes, it is, because it has always been the first challenge of any researcher in identifying the research topic. Why is it so? Because your research topic is the root of every part of your study. So that means your title, your background of the study, your hypothesis, your frameworks, your data gathering plan, and up until your conclusions or recommendations would all depend with your research topic. So it's really important that we have to choose the topic very well and choose the right research topic according to some considerations that we will be talking about or we will be talking later on. Okay, so I hope this instructional video is helpful, or this will be helpful for students, not just only for senior high school students, but also for other students or for other people who are going to do or conduct their research in the future. All right, so let's begin with sources of your research topic. So you probably might ask, so researcher, where do we start off with our research topic or problems? What will be our source? What will be our inspiration? Or where do we jumpstart our research study by choosing the research source or the research topic source? So there are, I will be sharing to you, class, the different sources of research topics. So let's talk about the sources of your research topic. Okay. Okay, so these are some of the sources where we could probably get or fish our information regarding uh, research topics that we might use. Okay, so the very first one here, okay, sorry, wait, let's adjust our, all right. So the first source of your research topic will be your prevailing theories. There. Prevailing theories or your philosophy. So this is the very first one. Remember, the theories are designed to be continuously tested. And some theories may be multidisciplinary, meaning it can be used in social studies or in social sciences, as well as in other sciences. There are also theories that are not only boxed in or limited to a certain concept, but it can also be applied to other concepts. So it's really good that we review certain theories that are specific to our own strand or are related to our track. However, for some strands, like your STEM, for example, if you wanted to do a scientific investigation, theories here can be um, replaced with concepts. So for the STEM strand, you can use scientific concepts. Okay. Now these scientific concepts are concepts that we learn in science, or let's say basic concepts in science that might be interesting if we're gonna put that into a research perspective. So you might consider that. So for example, what could be some scientific concepts that you can use? Let's say I'm interested with the concept of, let's not get too far, no, concept of cross contamination. So it's not technically a theory, but it's a concept. However, if you could find a exact theory that would explain cross contamination, that would be best as well. But if you can't, then you can just rely on with the scientific concept of cross contamination and use that as your inspiration or your jump start for a research topic. Okay. Number two, here we have your observations and your intuition. Okay. Now, remember that one characteristic of a good researcher is being sensitive with his surroundings, being observant and inquisitive. And whatever you see around you, probably something that might inspire or spark that inquisitive mind of yours, could be a source of research topic. So just look into your surroundings, observe what's going on, and probably you can find a certain problem, situation, or scenario where you can get a research topic out from it. All right. Next, we have, of course, let's not forget your school subjects. Okay, those that you learn in the classroom. So we can relate your school subjects again here with your concepts, but it's not just only scientific concepts, but it could also be concepts that you learn in a particular subject, and you might say, oh, this is probably interesting, so I can use this as my source of research topic, something that I might be interested with. Okay, together with your school or subjects, you could also go back, or you could also relate that one to your field of interests. Yes. So your field of interests, okay, or your specialization there. Well, of course, since practical research too is an applied subject, that means our research topics should be related with our strand or with our track. So let's say, for instance, you are in the TVL track and you are into specific on automotive servicing as your strand, no? So in there you could find, okay, what interesting topics that I can look or into if my specialization is on cars. So you just have to broaden your mind, and you could probably think of not just only with cars, but with traffic, with the current system, transportation system that's going on, or how do jeepney drivers are affected with the pandemic, something like that. So just go out of the box, but at the same time stick with your specialization so that it would also be within your interest. Okay. Next one. All right. We could have here, okay, for your number five, source of research topic could be existing problems of in your classroom. Okay. So problems in your school, or probably if you wanted to level it up a bit, you could look into the needs of the community there. Needs of the community or the society as a whole. Right? Now, this could be a very good source of research topic because if you already identify the problems in your school or the needs in the community, you might as well have your significance of the study already. Because remember that you're doing research for the purpose of utilizing the results afterwards, isn't it? So, if you already know or you identify that, okay, this could be a problem, and let's try to find solutions to these problem or to these problems, then you already both have your topic, your significance, and later on your recommendations. All right. Next up is, okay, this could be an easy source, which, okay, the number six source of research topic is what I always recommend to my students whenever they have difficulty looking for one. And this is a repetition or extension of investigation. Okay. So repetition, okay, or extension of prior investigations. There. Okay. Now, I just like to um, talk this further, or I will connect or correlate this one with our number eight source. And our number eight source is our review of related literature. Yes. Okay. Now, why is it that I wanted to connect these two? Now, if we try to look here, okay, these two are actually connected with each other because we can find prior investigations through our RL search. Okay? So, in the next few weeks, we will be talking about review of related literature and how are we going to maximize literature search for our studies and so on and like that. But the review related literature is a very rich source of so many elements in your study, and not just only the topic. It could be a source for your framework, it could be a source for your problem later on, it could be a source for your methodology or research methodology or protocol. It could be also a source of your sampling. So I could probably say that your RL is somewhat like the bloodline of your research study. Okay. So now let's go back to the number six source of research topic. As what I've mentioned, repetition or extension of investigation can be an easy source of topic. Why is it so? Remember that research is cyclical. It means when you complete a certain research study, it does not end there. All right. Meaning, another researcher in the future might use your research and take it as an inspiration to apply it to another context, concept, or setting. And probably that future researcher will also be able to modify some of its variables, add more setting or context or variables, or probably put it into a different light of perspective. So this could be a good one. Like for students who really find it difficult, you could look for related literature or previous studies done. Try to put it in the context of your locality. You can modify some of its variables, and there you go. You could make it your own. But do not forget to properly cite your primary research study and put that in your RL and in your references. All right. Next, let's proceed to the next one. Okay. Then we could also have here uh, advice from your authorities. Okay, sorry. So we have here advice from authorities or from, let's say, advice from authorities or from your advisor. Of course, tin pa kamo bimakadto kundi kay sir ka kay ma'am, no? Or probably here you could also look into funding agencies. Yes. Now, I would like to give emphasis to funding agencies here because I have worked with funding agencies and they have certain research agenda. Okay, so what is this? I'll just have to talk about a little more about this research, the research agenda class of these funding agencies. So a certain funding agency has their philosophy or their core mission. So for instance, so the funding agency that I've worked in the past is more on they focused the core of the organization is on the preservation of our marine life. It's a Philippine Reef foundation, and their research agenda or their projects are focused on uh, controlling our trash from getting into our seas, and teaching people and consumer to have that sustainable mindset of zero waste. So therefore, because this is the philosophy of the organization and they were able to get funding for their research, their agenda is more on zero waste and environment sustainability. So once you connect with these funding agencies, you already have that topic. So it would not be difficult for you because all these funding agencies have existing research agenda they that they use it as their priority topics. All right, so there you have it, class. So this could be really this would really come in handy when it comes to selecting our source of research topic, your prevailing theories, or your observation, the problems that you encounter in school or in the community, and then your previous prior investigation research study done as a product, or yes, as a result of your review related literature. And you could also, if you wanted to expand your network, you could get it from the advisor authority advisors and funding agencies. Okay, there you go. Now let's talk about, okay, once you already have this source, I guess we are now ready to talk about selecting the research topic. Yes, so this one is the next step, selecting the, okay, you're now going to select the research topic. Hmm. How do we select your research topic? All right. So in this part, we will be looking into the characteristic of your topic so that it could fit, or it could be the perfect research topic for us. Okay? So the very first criteria in selecting the perfect research topic is that it should be something new or different. Okay, something new or different. Or in the perfect way to describe it is that your research should be novel. Yes, it should be novel. So there should be some element of novelty within your research topic. But sir, how do we achieve novelty of our research topic, especially now that we are in the contemporary times where research is widely done by so many people, by different academic institutions and non-academic institutions? How can we find novelty in our research topic? Yes, this is indeed quite a challenge, especially for beginning researchers like us, to find a topic that is very novel. But when we speak about novelty, it should not be something that is completely completely different, or something that is really new that nobody knows what it is. Novelty could be like a different perspective from an old concept. Yes, that could be novelty here. So let's say, for instance, okay, we are already familiar with dengue hemorrhagic fever. So what's something new about dengue that you can offer or you can work on to be a research topic and eventually a research study? So that's where novelty sets in. And remember, if we are trying to modify research studies that were previously done, make it and contextualize it according to our setting, locality, and make some different changes in your elements or in your variables. So that could be novelty already. Okay, as long as it's unique, as long as it's not a full copy of a previous study done, then we could serve novelty for our research topic. All right. Next, let's proceed to the second one. And this, okay, the second one, I would just like to emphasize that originality, novelty, or something different could be the same, but if we could really do something original and that nobody has done ever, or from your research or from your literature search, you could not really find any association with the topic, then it's a very good one because that could serve as a pioneering research topic for you. Okay. The second most important criteria is that it should be significant. Significant. Okay. And what do we mean to say significant? That means results have high utilization there. Now, this is something that I would always tell my students. Find a topic that could give us really good results utilization. And what do we mean when we say results utilization? It means that whatever findings or whatever results that you can offer, or results that the study can produce upon completion, can be utilized in various ways, or can be utilized not just only by a few people or organization, but by a large scale. Okay? Because remember that research is an investment. You invest your knowledge, your time, your effort, your resources, your money into it. And we have to make sure that when we invest something, we reap the results of investment afterwards. So therefore, find a research topic that is relevant, something that is um, you can utilize after it is completed. Okay. Number three is you find a topic, or you narrow down a topic that arouses intellectual curiosity. Yes. Arouses intellectual curiosity. Now, when you say arouse, alain niya nga arouse class ha? When you say arouse, it's like it's stimulating. Oh, well, the same thing also. But when you say arouses, or arouses your intellectual curiosity, that means when people get to see your topic or your research title, they immediately get interested because they would say, "Oh, I never knew about that," or I never encountered something like this. So this is really interesting because if your topic arouses intellectual curiosity, you are engaging readers, you're engaging more people to learn about the results of your study. And when that happens, well, you're not just only informing or educating a lot of people, but you're also exposing your study for further studies in the future. So it's like selling your research in the market, something like that. Okay, next. Next one is that aside from it intellectual curiosity, it is really very important that it is within the researcher's interest. Okay. Now, it's within the researcher's interest. Now, why is it so? I think this is very important to take note that it has to be within your interest. Naari klasa. Remember that we cannot do well. Okay, we cannot do a certain task if we are not really engaged into it, right? Kung hambalan ka ni mama mo, panghugas kada pinggan, and then you don't like washing the dishes, of course, you'll find it like really as a chore. And aside from the fact that you don't enjoy it, you will not be able to do it properly, di ba? The next time you're gonna use your plates and your spoon and fork, may mga mumo pa na kung kisangan na bilin dira. So probably you could say, all right, you're not doing it well because you're not interested with the task. But if you invest your interest into something, even though hindi ka na paghambalan ni mama mo manghugas pinggan, right away you're gonna wash the dishes because you like doing it. You put your interest, your heart into that, and you're passionate about it. So therefore you can allot your resources and direct your energy in doing that task. Same with the research as well. It has to be within your interest. When you look for a topic, it should be something that you can do until the end or until it is completed. And you know for a fact that it's not easy. So even though it's not easy, even though it's hard, even though it's challenging, but because you're interested about that thing, about the topic, you will still going to pursue that. Yes. Do parius man na bala kung mga liyag ka, di ba? You keep on wooing a certain person because you're interested in the person. You don't mind spending a lot of money, spending your time because you are really passionate of expressing your emotions to that person. So if it goes out well, then it benefits you. But if not, at least you've learned to do better the next time. So same with research as well. Okay. Next one is that it should be okay here. Because you are still students and beginning researchers, we have to remember that it should be modest enough. Okay, modest enough for a beginner. Yes. And what do we mean by this? When I say modest enough class, it's something to do that it's within your resources. Okay? So modesty of your topic should be within the researcher's capacity. Mm. And when I say capacity, I'm not just only talking about intellectual capacity, but capacity in terms of access to facilities, access to amenities, to experts and to sources or the like. So that's what we mean when we say modest enough. However, it's not like I'm telling you to limit yourself only with that certain topic. You can actually go or you can go ambitious and do really very big topics and complicated ones. But remember, when you do that or when you pursue really complicated or complex topics, it has to be within your resources. All right. So if you have enough resources, if you have enough connections, linkages, or let's say collaboration, well, go for it. Okay. I'm not telling you not to really go beyond, but work on topics within your resources and capacity. Okay. Next. All right. So for number six, I'll just have to clump this one together. Okay. The next how to say this one. Okay. The next criteria should be it must be clear, not ambiguous. At the same time, it should be specific, not general. Okay. So let's start first with specific and not general. Okay, so let's say, for example, you wanted to do about COVID-19, a study about COVID-19. COVID-19 is very general. So what exactly about COVID-19? And it should be clear. Okay, so when I say treatment of COVID-19, so that's okay. You go specific. So you say COVID-19, sir, pero what about COVID-19? Treatment of COVID-19. But treatment is still ambiguous, although it's quite specific, but it's still ambiguous. So you really have to go with treatment. What kind of treatment, sir? It has something to do with the social treatment of COVID-19 when it comes to people interaction and the like. So mga mo na bala. So you have to be specific and it has to be clear. Okay. Mm. Of course, let's not forget that another criteria, okay, so Ari, actually, I have mentioned this already a while ago that modest one for the beginners. So when you say modest, you have to consider the training and the personal qualification of the researcher as well. But it's not like you cannot make collaborative research study with experts, you still can do. But if you are the primary component, a proponent of the study, and you're the one who actually sets, you're the main, okay, if you are the main proponent of the study, then you have to remember that it should be within your qualifications as well. Okay, here I'd just like to emphasize the availability of data. Availability of your data. Now, this is a very important criteria. Why? Because when we say availability of data, that means you can generate or you can gather or you collect data based on that certain topic. Because what if, for example, you choose the topic, but it's impossible for you to obtain the data, then your research will be useless. And availability of data means also about the time. Remember that you are given a certain time period to complete your research for, let's say, compliance sa inyong subject, no? So you also have to think, if we are going to submit this by the end of the semester, that's like 2 months from now, can we gather data within that period of time? So that's a crucial consideration that we have to take. Okay, and of course we have here your financial capacity. Class, remember that doing research is an expensive endeavor. Yes, and that's one reason why people do not really engage into research, because it entails, spending and using money to complete that. So you have to consider that as well. But as what I've mentioned earlier, there are funding agencies here. So there are funding agencies that we can collaborate with and work with together, so they can provide with the money, and all you have to do is implement the study, collect the data, analyze, and send them the report or output. Okay. And of course, the last consideration, class, is our time factor. Yes, of course, time factor. As I am quite familiar with, when we speak about time factor, we're talking about your not just only your time, but the time that the data will be gathered. Let's say, yes, you have a lot of time. You're free for the rest of the sem, for instance. But then you must the data, in order to have a complete set of data, you must be able to gather them in a period of 1 year. So that element alone is already tough to consider. So you might as well change your topic or modify the the elements on your topic to suit your timetable. Okay, yay! So there you have it. So these are the important consideration or criteria in selecting for your research topic. So to end this lecture, I'd like to have, or let's try to make a comparison between the technical criteria. Okay, so let's have your class. Your technical criteria and your personal criteria. In choosing your research topic, there are two important considerations, or your criteria is divided actually into two parts or into classifications. We have your technical criteria and your personal criteria. So when I say technical criteria, it has something to do with the technical requirements of the study. So the study itself or the topic itself as a whole, it's the methodology that it will be done, okay, and the protocol itself, that the protocol that requires for data gathering, while personal criteria has something to do with the researchers. So going into the researcher's capacity, researcher's interest, or something like that. So let us define or let us enumerate here technical criteria. Okay, so number one, of course, letter A in your technical criteria is, of course, the significance of the topic. So as what we have mentioned a while ago, it must have a high utilization by the end when it's completed. Of course, it should be pioneering or novel. Okay, should be pioneering or novel. Somehow it's also original or something like that, something that's new, something that is not a complete repetition of the previous study done, and something that can offer a different perspective in the table. Okay, of course, it should arouse curiosity. Okay, so arousing curiosity, also na spelling ta. Curiosity is a technical criteria as well. And then relevance to the field. Okay. Relevance to the field or to the degree. So if you are under Humes and you're creating a social science research or social research, so you have to see, can I use this one in our discipline or field? So that's a technical criteria. And then availability and manageability of data, availability and manageability. Okay, availability and manageability of your data. So, amo to hambal ta kagina. Is it available? Can we actually gather them according with our resources? Okay. And of course, the availability of manageability of data should also be coupled with availability of your instruments. Availability of your instruments. So do we have the instruments to gather these data? Do we have the amenities? Do we have the facilities to gather them? So that's one thing that we can actually use. Okay. And for personal, let's go back to the researchers. Ano? So number one, very most important, it should be within your field of interest so that you could complete, and reproduce the results of the study. It should also be within your training, yes. But training is not only limited to your current training, ha. It could also be, you could do also collaborative research with qualified scientists or experts, and so that it could be also a learning avenue for you. Of course, your expertise as well, the amount of research that you have done. I know some of our um, learners here have done researches when they were still in junior high school. So it's not the first time that they do it. So if it's you're several times doing research, probably you're expected to come up with a more complex or complicated topic because of your prior experience. Then important, of course, is your financial capability or financial capacity because again, it's expensive. And finally, time. Okay, the time factor of your research. Okay, so there you have it, class. So technical and personal criteria, all considering for your research topic and where we're gonna get a research topic. So it has, remember that we have to put both of them into consideration so that we will be able to come up with the perfect research title. And from that research title, we could create a research problem and we are ready to start a research study. Okay, so that's it for this part of our lecture. Please watch out for, or please, yes, please watch out for the second part, which now be our research title in the next video. Don't forget to hit subscribe, ring the bell, so that you'll be able to see new contents every week. So thank you, class. See you in the next video.